Presently, I'm reading Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. In this, I'm reading a little from chapter number 16, The Capitalist Creed. Money has been essential both for building empires and for promoting sciences. But is money the ultimate goal of these undertakings, or perhaps just a dangerous necessity? It is not easy to grasp the true role of economics in modern history. Whole volumes have been written about how money founded states and ruined them, opened new horizons and enslaved millions, moved the wheels of industry and drove hundreds of species into extinction. Yet, to understand the modern economic history, you really need to understand a single word, and the word is growth, he says. Economics is a notoriously complicated subject. To make things easier, let's imagine a simple example. Yuval Noah Harari explains credit creation in a very interesting manner. So that is why I'm going to read this for you. And for this, he talks about three people. One is Samuel Greedy, a shrewd financier who has a bank, El Dorado, in California. And A. Stone is a contractor, and Jane McDonut is the chef. Okay, so let's just go through that. And I'm just going to read. Now, Samuel Greedy, a shrewd financier, founds a bank in El Dorado, California, and A. Stone, an up-and-coming contractor in El Dorado, finishes his first big job, receiving payment in cash to the tune of $1 million. He deposits this sum, that is $1 million he gets, and he deposits the sum in Mr. Greedy's bank. The bank now has how many? $1 million in capital. In the meanwhile, Jane McDonut, an experienced El Dorado chef, thinks she sees a business opportunity. There's no really good bakery in her part of town, but she doesn't have enough money of her own to buy a proper facility, complete with industrial ovens, sinks, knives, and pots. She goes to this bank. She goes to the bank and presents her business plan to Greedy and persuades him that it's a worthwhile investment. He issues her a $1 million loan. So, loan of how much? $1 million. Okay. So, $1 million loan she gets. And by crediting her account in the bank with that sum, McDonald now Harry Stone. So, now she gets this Stone there. Stone the contractor. Who's Stone? Contractor. McDonald now hires Stone the contractor to build and finish a bakery. His price is $1 million. So $1 million is his price. Okay. Now what happens is, when she pays him with a check drawn on her account, Stone deposits it in his account in the Greedy bank. So how much money does Stone have in the bank account now? Right now, how many? First, remember he had $1 million. So now he has $2 million. Okay. So that's what. So how much money does Stone have in his bank account? Right, $2 million. How much money cash is actually located in the bank safe? Yes. How much? $1 million. It doesn't stop there. As contractors are wont to do, 2 months into the job, Stone informs McDonald that due to unforeseen problems and expenses, the bill for constructing the bakery will actually be $2 million. Mrs. McDonald is not pleased, but she can hardly stop the job in the middle. So she pays another visit to the bank, convinces Mr. Greedy again to give her an additional loan, and he puts another $1 million in her account. She transfers the money to the contractor's account. How much money does Stone have in his account now? Now he has how many? $3 million now. Okay. But how much money is actually sitting in the bank? How much cash is there actually there? Still just $1 million. In fact, the same $1 million that's been in the bank all along. So this is how credit is created. So he goes on to write, current US banking law permits the bank to repeat this exercise how many times? 7 more times. The contractor would eventually have 10 million in his account even though the bank still has but 1 million in its walls. So 7 plus 3 is 10. Okay. So banks are allowed to loan $10 for every dollar they actually possess, which means that 90% of all the money in our bank's accounts is not covered by actual coins and notes. If all the account holders now he talks about Barclays Bank, if all of the, so that's the story, and that's the example with which he explains credit creation. Isn't it so interesting? So he goes on to write, the fact is a tribute to the amazing abilities of human imagination. What enables banks and the entire economy to survive and flourish in our trust in the future? This trust is the sole backing for most of the money in the world. In the bakery example, the discrepancy between the contractor's account statement and the account of money actually in the bank is Mrs. McDonald's bakery. Mr. Greedy has put the bank's money into the asset, trusting that one day it would be profitable. Okay. So the bakery hasn't baked a loaf of bread yet, but McDonald and Greedy anticipate that a year hence it will be selling thousands of loaves, rolls, cakes and cookies each day at a handsome profit. Mrs. McDonald will then be able to repay her loan with interest. If at that point Mr. Stone decides to withdraw his savings, Greedy will be able to come up with the cash. The entire enterprise is thus founded on trust in an imaginary future, the trust that the entrepreneur and the banker have in the bakery of their dreams. Along the entire enterprise once again, the entire enterprise is thus founded on trust in an imaginary future, the trust that the entrepreneur and the banker have in the bakery of their dreams, along with the contractor's trust in the future solvency of the bank. We've already seen that money is an astounding thing because it can represent myriad different objects and convert anything into almost anything else. However, before the modern era, this ability was limited. In most cases, money could represent and convert only things that actually existed in the present. This imposed a severe limitation on growth since it made it very hard to finance new enterprises. Now let's consider our bakery again. Could McDonald get it built if money could represent only tangible objects? No. In the present, she has a lot of dreams but no tangible resources. The only way she could get her bakery built would be to find a contractor willing to work today and receive payment in a few years' time, if and when the bakery starts making money. Alas, such contractors are rare breeds. So, our entrepreneur is in a bind. Without a bakery, she can't bake cakes. Without cakes, she can't make money. Without money, she can't hire a contractor. Without a contractor, she has no bakery. Humankind has trapped in this predicament for thousands of years. So humankind was trapped in this predicament for thousands of years. As a result, economics remained frozen. The way out of the trap was discovered only in the modern era with the appearance of a new system based on trust in the future. In it, people agreed to represent imaginary goods, goods that do not exist in the present, with a special kind of money they called credit. Credit enables us to build the present at the expense of the future. It's founded on the assumption that our future resources are sure to be far more abundant than our present resources. A host of new and wonderful opportunities open up if we can build things in the present using future incomes. If credit is such a wonderful thing, why did nobody think of it earlier? Of course, they did. Credit arrangements of one kind or another have existed in all known human cultures going back at least to ancient Sumer. The problem in previous eras was not that no one had the idea or knew how to use it. It was that people seldom wanted to extend much credit because they didn't trust the future would be better than the present. So read for yourself. It's so interesting. That is the ISBN number 978-0-099-0-59008-8. Must get this book. It's really brilliant.